Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel. And no, this isn't necessarily a review of this aircraft because there are way more qualified people than me to do that. But I wanted to take a chance to record a video playing with this thing because there are going to be a lot of people who are new to big, complicated jets. I'm one of them. Now, I'm a GA pilot, General Aviation. I can fly your turboprops, I can fly piston, I can fly twins. I can fly the DC-6. Because it has spinny things on the front. Don't ask me why it's any different to this. I just know how to use radials. I do not, however, know how to operate a complex jet. I know some of the basics. So today, imagine you are, like me, new to this. And imagine that you too have never really done this for the first time. And now this is, of course, PMDG's first entry to this complex jet market in MSFS. Obviously, they have already released the DC-6. They've released complex models for P3D and FSX. But this is their first here. Now, I will not be reviewing, rather remarking. If you, like me, are new to this sort of thing, it's going to seem terrifying at first. But it doesn't need to be. And a lot of stuff just makes sense. A lot of things don't, and we'll talk about some of those, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right? Let's go inside. So it does weird loading things when it does this. Now, I have mine set to taxi, which means my engines are running. Pull that back a second. Yeah, my engine's already running, because I chose to set it this way, and we'll go over that in a moment. Now, I believe my parking brake is on, which is down here. That's on. Okay. Now, we're going to scroll down. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to use the damn control buttons because there we go. So this is right now where everything is controlled from, including your things like what we'd normally consider tablet functions. Apparently PMDG is working on one, but it isn't here yet. So all of your tablet functions are located in this complicated looking 1980s piece of technology. Okay, so we have PMDG setup, where we can go to things like the aircraft, and we can look at equipment, displays, various numerous settings that airliner pilots will understand. I don't. Options, and we can go to things like simulation. Now we can look at things like failures, engine oil, we can look at all these wonderful options here. Positions, auto throttle overrides, call-outs for airspeeds. We'll go to all these various nice little functions you can turn on and off. And various yoke and hiding things. Steering input. Now this is an interesting one because you steer these bad boys on the ground with both this or this. And you can set it up either way in the sim. Now, to use the tiller, you'd need to use the actual prop axis, prop 1 axis. I'm using the rudder because it's much less complicated. Now, when this wants to behave itself, and I can press Control 2 again to go down there, we can go back to the menu. Now, colours. Can I make this pink? Can I make it pink? No! How do I change the colour? I don't think it'll let me. I'm being stupid either way. Let's go back, because obviously you can change the colours. Now, of course, we have different states you can load into. So startup state can be things like all these various phases of flight: cold, dark, climb, apron long, apron approach. We can also go to cold, dark with GPU, cruise, final, hangar, completely shut down and everything off, runway. Or what I've got it set to is taxi, which is basically ready to roll. So, if you, like me, have no idea what you're doing, you can technically, knowing what you know from default MSFS, use the autopilot and fly the aeroplane with, you know, this thing down here, which if I click the top of it, it becomes uncontrollable, then I move it and it can do that. So, with this thing, we can fly the plane. Now, yeah, it's a complicated aeroplane, and they've done a stunning job with this thing. Look at the fur. My god, that's gorgeous. Now, obviously, we can't open that, but we can do the seat rests. We can open the jump seat. We can do anything we want with this plane. functions function, which is rather nice. And I will say they have done a beautiful job with it. Now, I'm sure there's probably maybe a way to open this with 47 different lock combinations and a whistle. I don't know if that actually works, though, or not. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Now, obviously, being an airliner, you have tons of buttons that do various things. Sounds like a thing you'd expect someone to say. You're probably saying to yourself right now, of course, Avangel, of course, we know that. I've flown these 47,000 times. Well, there are going to be people out there who haven't. And if you haven't played with airliners, and I'm sure all of us have at least at some point played with the default ones, autopilot controls. Power settings for speed hold, actual speed hold, which you can do obviously Mach and also speed. Lateral navigation, VOR lock for actually tuning in a VOR and flying that. Heading, level change, so you can set a different altitude and go to that. Altitude hold, vertical speed mode. All these usual various things like multiple autopilot control buttons, it all makes sense, but and auto throttles as well. Let's turn that off, we don't want that. It's going to complicate matters. We don't need to complicate matters. Now we're on our rejected takeoff for RTO, which is what we want in case we actually do screw that up. Now you've got different brake settings under there as well, which when we move our head down a little bit, obviously different amounts of braking for landing and takeoff. Obviously you want the maximum, which is rejected takeoff, for takeoff in case you have to reject it and stop. Now obviously we can switch between various panels on the MFD, which is that the one down there? Oh yeah, engines and door systems. So down here we can actually see brake temperatures, control surface positions, rudder go burr, ailerons. So realistically this can be operated in a simpler way as the default ones. I will be the first to tell you I have no idea about complex airliner systems. I just don't fly them. I don't find them personally enjoyable. I bought this out of my own money to play with because I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to see if I could actually enjoy it, and maybe if I had a complex one I would enjoy it. I don't know. We are, however, going to take off and try and land this thing, if not only, for those of you who are airliner fans, to laugh with a great amusement at me. I'm trying to work out whereabouts I am here, so I'm basically good to take off, or to depart I should say, from this parking spot under my own power. So I'm going to give it some juice here, and I'll turn my head on. Let's move my eye point down a little bit. So we have got our nose wheel steering here. Now of course you can, from that same panel down there, which we'll do before we actually take off, control things like doors and ground services, which is super cool, but I'd like it in a tablet form because that makes things much more user friendly. If you're used to an FMS, fine. But I find in terms of a GUI for settings and options and states, it is incredibly un-user-friendly. Probably what they had time to do with the release schedule, I understand, but it does make things a little bit interesting. Now I will say the in-sim performance of this is surprisingly good. Just like the DC-6, works rather well. I'm not really seeing a huge performance hit. And I'm getting about on par for any aircraft at Juneau. Of course I'm at Juneau. I'm a bush pilot. I had to go to Alaska somewhere, right? Either way. So, overall, the complexity level is what you make it. If you want to start up ready to rock and roll, you can. Right now, I do not believe there is a way to actually change that startup state on the fly. You simply can't. It has to load into the sim in a certain state. So you set it in the sim, then reload the flight, and it will work. It will change to that new one, I believe. That's the way I've done it so far, at least. I've changed it, then I've logged in, I've ended the flight, launched a new flight, and it's been changed. So unfortunately you can't sit there loading passengers, then change it to taxi and be ready to depart. That would be cool though. Probably limitation of the sim. But, let me see what my flaps settings are at. Should be at 5 there for our takeoff. We are indeed at 5. Okay, fantastic. So taxi down to the end runway here at Juneau. Our flaps are set. Speed brakes are retracted. Gear is down locked, of course. We are ready to depart. Now, yeah, this is probably going to be a horrific mess. And you're probably still watching because you want to see a mess. You know what? Me too. Why not? I'm not good at this. And I'll be the first to happily admit that. And if you guys can at least get a laugh out of my incompetence, then fair enough. I'll stop here at the hold short before we do anything, yeah? Let me make you go down. Turn my head off first. There we go. Control 2, wasn't it? Okay, so let's return to here. Now, FS actions, you would go to things like doors. And I can open that door, open that door, open that door. I can even extend my air stair. It is a beautifully made model, I will say. A gorgeously made model. Yeah, we've got an air stair. That's cool. You can operate the doors, even turned on like this. And a rather nice interior to boot. With our first class area, of course, where we'd really want to sit, although... yeah, not with my flying. There we go, down the air stair. I wonder if I can go to the toilet. There's no toilet, refund. Okay. Well, anyway, less of this. Let's go back inside here. Right, let's close those doors because we really shouldn't have those extended when we're flying. That would probably be bad for us. So those are all closing as commanded. Obviously we can control pushback, directions and operations, chocks remove and apply. No, I don't want chocks set. But stupid. Ground services. Would you sod off button? Stupid flight sim. Ground services. So we've got original external pit power, we've got all sorts of different options, jetway connection, air start unit, air conditioning, all these wonderful functions that can actually be applied here, which is rather nice. Potable water, lavatory cleaning, yeah, maintenance, or empty lavatories, I should say. Fuel trucks. We have passengers and stairs and passenger entry via stairs or air stair. So if I select this, it'd be jetway. Stairs. So yeah, that didn't actually command something to come out here, did it? I didn't just tell them all to come running across the apron to throw the stairs at me. No, good, excellent. And on our final page there we have again various carts and loading functions. So if we go back here, ground maintenance, we can of course do things like servicing the oxygen bottles, fire bottles, engine oil, hydraulic fluid. And we can do cooling our brakes, replacing tyres, which I will burn up quite a few times, and all sorts of other cool functions. Either way, you want to watch me screw this up, so let's go right ahead and screw this up. Like I said, I didn't want to spend the time starting this up and spend 30 minutes of me referencing a manual, going back and forth to try and start this aircraft. I'm going to use my basic knowledge of what I have to try and operate this thing for a short flight. Here at Juno, we'll get out on the numbers and we'll line up. Feel free to give me any pointers and tips you want to, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Takeoff thrust selected. And we're rolling. Airspeed is alive. Passing through 80 knots. We'll get our call for rotate, I think. Or we should. Nope, no call. We're passing through 180. I think it's time to pull back. And we're going up. The gear has been commanded to come up. Whether it does or not doesn't matter, because apparently it doesn't want to recognize the honeycomb. So gear is commanded up. Flaps are, if I can reach this behind all the control features, are retracting. We are good. So I'm going to switch this now to there. And we are airborne in a 737. Airborne indeed. I am... Yes, I'm aware there's terrain. This is called Alaska 737. There is terrain. Let's make sure we maintain our speed under 250 here. I'm aware of the terrain. Thank you. Don't care. Well aware there's a mountain. It's out the window. We're going to swing this around in a nice big circle and bring it back towards the airport. The sounds, the smells, and practically smells, I should say, the sounds, the experience of flying this thing is really nice. And they've done a beautiful job of doing it. Seeing as this is realistically our first modern airliner in the sim, in terms of a full complexity model, I'd say it's a rather nice job. I can't speak to its accuracy of its flight modelling. I'm surprised the windows don't open. Like, these do operate, I'm surprised I can't do it. Unless it's probably a function hidden behind 14 pages in the FMS. But there you go. Right, speed I'm holding. Let's roll ourselves level here. Juno's over there. So we'll swing it out to sea, we'll bring it back around and make it approach. Yeah, there we are. So we're good right now. Let's bring our nose down. This is basically akin to watching a novice GA pilot who happened to have the chicken, not the fish, have to land an airliner. In sim terms, at least. Because I know how to fly an aeroplane, but not particularly this one. I've got a few bits of knowledge which I've gathered from, you know, time and simming and trying out airliners, like I know about the auto brake systems. Shut up about too low terrain. I'm aware there's a mountain, we're flying over it. So I've got my trim dialed in here. We're at 4,000 feet. Okay. So I'm bringing the power back now. I'm going to swing out to the left before starting a turn to the right. And descending as we go. So bring my speed down, give it a bit of spoilers here. I'm hoping this can line us up on the runway. Yes, thank you, caution terrain. We are well aware of this. Let's keep below 250. Which I didn't know until recently. Only applies to aircraft that can do it. Yeah. Some heavies are allowed to exceed 250 below 10,000 feet. If it's kind of required for safe operation and flight. So some things like the 747s and cargo models and the A380s can exceed that speed. If it is something they need. Okay, where are we? There's Juno. Okay, we're on what is essentially a rough base. Bring the power down here. I'm not sure of my landing speeds, but we'll wing this. There's the airport. Let's bring the power back up slightly here. The trim does feel like it takes a lot to kind of have much effect, which I did read in the manual is a factor in this aircraft. The Boeing trim is a bit... It requires a lot. I do like the terrain showing up on the map, that's quite nice. So there we are, over there to our right hand side. I'm probably moving the throttles way more than I should in an airliner, but there you go. I'll hold at 200 knots. This feels right for now. Trim is good. There's our runway. So I'm going to pop out flaps now, if I can find the lever. Select flap 15. Gear down. And I keep doing that with the button there. Gear coming down. Okay, we should be able to swing in here. This is not your 10-mile final. This is definitely more of a visual 737 approach. I need to come in along the hillside there, and I'm going to swing it in. I believe. I'm probably going to be off to the side. Yeah, I'll need to come over that hill rather than in front of it. So I'm going to want a bit more power here as we're dropping too slow. No, this should be okay. Okay. Trying to judge my approach in an aircraft I haven't flown here before. Okay, let's give me flaps. If I can find it, 25. Okay, visual runway. Got visual on the runway, we're good. Speed auto brakes are armed.
Caution, terrain.
Is that armed?
Caution, terrain.
I think that's armed. Okay. Well aware of the terrain, thank you.
Terrain.
That's low, we're slow on speed.
Terrain. Pull up.
Have to roll back on center line here. We're a little bit to the left. Get the nose down. Give me trim, please. Power off. Pitch for airspeed. Trying to differentiate where the actual surface of the runway is here because of the... I can't tell what's taxiway and what's runway down there. I think I see it. I think we're okay. 160 knots. I have the runway in sight. Okay. Drifting slightly, little rudder. My first 737 landing. You're going to get to enjoy this one.
1,000.
Okay, 1,000 feet. 3 green confirmed. Airspeed is good. We're looking good, I think. This feels good.
Terrain. Pull up.
Yes, yes, terrain, shush. Okay, looking good. Speed is good. Power to idle. Probably a little hot right now.
Sync rate.
Oh yeah, buddy, sync rate is definitely a thing.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Oh, that's getting jittery.
30. 20.
No.
10.
Shush. Go away. Freaking prop up right when I'm stopping the aeroplane. Okay, thrust reversers did their jobs. And we stopped. In a reasonable amount of time. Shut up! Oh, you annoying simulator, I swear. My services are fine. My internet's operating right now. It's stupid. See? Told you. Well, I landed. So screw those of you who said I couldn't do it. Let's get ourselves off here. Flaps coming up. And we'll just call it good when we can taxi to... I'm going... Shut up. Don't do it, simulator. I'm going to be a troll and taxi to a hangar instead of an apron because it's going to trigger all the jet fans if I taxi over to a little GA hangar over here in a 737. And park it up on my ramp. Deal with it. A little bit further forwards. If you want to, that is. It's beeping at me. I don't know what that means. Come on. Go faster. Thank you. That'll do. Okay. I'm assuming if I click these, that power goes off. Did I have the yoke down the entire time? I think I did. That's awkward. Why is it inhibited? Does the door have to be opened first? Is that the one that needs to be opened? Let me have my Asda. Oh, it's making funny noises at me. It's beeping loudly and annoyingly and insistently. And I'm probably sure I shouldn't have that door open. It's still whining even this far outside. Oh, God. Make it stop. Again, I am not an airliner person. Oh, God, that's annoying. Okay, okay, you win. What the hell do I have to press to make you shut up? I don't even know where my batteries are. Okay, these seem like they are. Those are hydraulics, okay. Let's turn those off. We don't want that. We don't want fuel pumps on. Go away. What's going to stop the sound? People are sitting here screaming. It's that button over there. These batteries? Nah. Screw you. Be quiet. Again, I'm not an airliner pilot, nor do I pretend to be so. I'm going to probably try and learn how to fly this, but I think I can prove that you too, if you have no idea about airliners, can at least get an enjoyable flight out of this. Because if you can program a flight plan in MSFS, and you can operate the autopilot, which anyone who realistically has flown in the default planes probably can work out how to do relatively quickly. You can start it in taxi, ready to taxi mode. You too can fly the plane, and you too can get enjoyment out of this, and spend your time learning the more complex systems. Which, to be fair, is what I'm probably going to do. So all you GA pilots who've never really thought they might want to get this, it's worth a try if you fancy it. I mean, it comes with this version, the 700, the cargo version, and a business jet version. It's pretty worth it for $69. 3 totally different, completely complex aircraft. It's worth a crack. If you want to start flying an airliner properly, this might be the place to start. Again, I bought this out of my own money. PMDG did not give this to me. I spent my own money on this, and yeah, I don't feel like I wasted it. We'll see how much I do learn, though, before screaming I give up and going back to a Cessna. And with that note, I will see you all soon. Bye! Regularly scheduled review service will resume soonly. Soonly? That's not a word. Soon. Bye!